Let's address one concern at a time, one particular issue at a time, because this is like uh, an engine. So I cannot help you to understand every component right off the bat. We have to look at one screw at a time.
Right.
So let's start with the first question from you. Ask a very specific question about this big problem that we are facing. Just look at one angle. I give you an example. Um, my big problems is, as I told you, but right now I don't know if I want to terminate this meeting so I can go to lunch or not because I'm hungry. So
I'm hungry
that
too.
that thing is a 1% of 1% of 1% of this big problem, but it's a problem. It's easier to us to tackle a tiny problem at a time so that you and I learn how to work together. Before I say something about that, what do you think?
Um, yeah. Well, I see the problem, and like, yeah, I guess typically someone would ignore that, but you should probably take all problems into consideration if they exist, no matter how small they are.
Um, if you want to make a connection, you want to do that in a hurry.
Yeah.
If you want to do that in a hurry, you cannot be in lecture mode.
Hmm.
You have to be in conversation. But the conversation has to give your uh, interlocutor, your counterpart, a chance to feel like they succeeded in helping you solving a small problem first,
Hmm.
quickly,
Yeah.
so that you can have a small connection at first. So that's the point. Is that uh, I wanted to see that I could connect with him to show him that I can help with the 1% of the problem first. Because
Yeah.
if I did not feel like I could solve 1% of the problem, then I would say, sorry, this is not a problem that I can help you with.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's the point of that.
Yeah. A lot of the time when it comes to connection, I kind of it almost feels like there's some kind of time limit, which there is before like there's just some disconnect and I can't get through anymore. And I think that's counterintuitive, since usually I try to overcompensate by talking, connecting more, and that actually makes the problem worse because lecture mode. But yeah.
Before we enter the cave,
Mm.
you get me?
Mm.
You and I need to solve one tiny problem
Yeah.
first. You may want to
Yeah.
shut that down.
Yeah.
You and I should practice working together to solve a tiny problem
Right.
outside of the cave first.
Right.
Because when we enter the cave, my life depends on you, your life depends on me. And if we don't know how each other works,
Right.
our relationship breaks down before it has a chance to start.
Right.
The reason is because we were still strangers.
Mm.
This is our second meeting ever.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to be very careful, because he was disclosing a big secret of his life. My goodness, that's not something that you share with a stranger right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to test the water first before I jump in and help him.
Yeah.
That's the background.
Right. Absolutely.
So look at one tiny problem in the big picture and ask me a question about that first. Give me a chance to feel like I'm successful in helping you first.
How do you know what to focus on the most?
The first step is to understand what focus means. Exactly, objectively, applicable in every context. Do you know what focus means?
To me, I'll say unshakable concentration, meaning concentrating on one thing, putting all your energy towards one thing.
You are relabeling the concept. Relabeling doesn't explain. Relabeling doesn't define. So, what's concentrating?
Focus.
There you go. You're not doing the job I'm
Yeah.
asking you to do. Try again. If you don't understand that concept, you cannot practice it.
Doing focus is the thing that drives.
You can focus on this conversation, but you also need to be aware of the sound environment. So when a big truck goes by, suspend the conversation.
Right.
And so focusing doesn't mean that you give up all the senses. You cannot focus if you're not aware of what's going on around you.
So what's focus?
I'm going to give you a chance to define that first.
Focus is being able to do the thing that your heart desires. Starting from even without having the full picture of what it is, it's just being able to, for me to focus, like I focus on boxing or training. When I focus, I just have a mission, a goal in my mind, and I'm trying my hardest to attain that goal that I've already seen in my mind. I just want to bring it to my reality, and I'm just focusing. I'm putting all my energies towards that one. My information, my information is going there. My energy is leading me there. I'm immersed in that one thing, and that's what I think is focus, But at the same time, as human beings, we are all expressions of different energies, So there's so many things you can get attracted to. There's so many things that I won't say so many things, but numerous things that right now myself, like I'll say, I feel pulled towards boxing.
When you see me raising my hands like this, if my hands are close to my face, then you're at the solar system level. But if you see me extending my hands all the way, you're talking about the galaxy again. Okay? So let's consider this to be a conversation between you and your son, and he's in first grade.
Wow.
Explain to him what focusing means. Try again. When I clap, it's for my film editing purpose. It's not for you.
All right.
So that I can I know how to align all the segments.
All right. If I was to talk to my son in first grade, tell him what focus is,
He's right here. Look at him. Focus on your son and explain to him what focus means. Look at him. Keep your eyes on him. Your facial expression is not from my father to my son. You need to wear your father hat right now. And you have to show that your facial expression is for your son, not for me.
All right, 1 second.
Dad, what focusing means?
I'll see. Doing something, completing a task without distraction. You know, I don't know. I can't explain that.
Okay. Now you see why most people fail to focus. Not because they don't want to, but because they don't understand the concept. Therefore, they fail to practice. Thank goodness we had Steve Jobs. In 1997, I believe that's the year, he stood in front of his company with almost all of his engineers. And Steve Jobs, of course. And he explained to his engineers what focus means and how to practice it. And that is what I would go by. Focusing, that means say no. To everything else.
Doesn't that still apply to immerse yourself to one particular thing? If you immerse yourself to something, that means you're.
That's not saying no.
You should say no to anything else.
Yes.
I see.
And the reason why he had this conversation, because I speculate that half of his engineers hated him for changing his mind. And that's why he explained to them, I'm saying no, because the company has to focus on this, but not that. That's why I had to say no to that, even though I understand that you guys put in a lot of effort for that, but we are focusing on this. Until you know how to practice the art of saying no, you don't know how to practice focusing for the things that you're trying to concentrate on. Is that the end?
It's pretty close, yeah.
Okay. Stop. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, yeah, that does seem like the actual definition of focus. Like at the end, you say like your definition, and I settled on I guess the same definition, just not with one word. I guess it's a better way of saying it, no. Because like throughout the video I was thinking how could I like actually define focus without a phrasing like just the word focus. And the thing I settled on was just simply dismissing the irrelevant portions of the task at hand, which I like what you said, say no.
Um, anything surprising to you in this video?
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, I guess if I hadn't already been here talking to you, it would have surprised me. Which is just how much he opened up. You know, he just completely opened himself up. He told you about losing his job, his son, and he just seems to be not blindly accepting, but considering, and then realizing the value of it, therefore accepting the different things that you're telling him. Which, if I hadn't been here, I might have been surprised. But being here, talking to you, and experiencing the same exact thing, I really understand it.
So why do you think I connect well? Why do you think I exercise the connection skills
Well, you give
so well?
you give me a lot of time to talk. Like right now, you talk, like the conversation that we're having is about interesting things that I enjoy discussing, which I think would apply to most people. Would discussing these things would probably be enjoyable.
In other words, I do not deliver any lecture.
Yeah. Yeah, just really simple points that, like, yes, you're right, because it makes sense.
So I think that is a trick that you could use
Yeah.
to involve your audience by not spending 5 or 10 or 20 minutes to talk at once, but just do it 2 minutes at a time and give people a chance to acknowledge what you have to say before you go on. Very good. Okay, so let's see what's next. Let's see.
Oh, the next video.
Go to the end and see. Let me see what's next. What is reciprocation? So pause.
Until you know how to practice.
Pause. Okay, so let's see. This one is 10 minutes. Okay, so how are you doing in terms of sitting at one place for so long? Do we need to take a break? Or
No, I feel fine. I might have shifted a lot, but I have ADHD, so that's common. I've actually shifted significantly less than I normally do.
I didn't even think about that. So
Oh, well, yeah, I'm feeling comfortable. So
very good. Okay, so if before we go to the next video, what did the first few videos do for you so far?
The first one, really.
No, in general.
Oh, in general.
This is a series of 6 videos. So the name of this series is Thumoslang101. Thumoslang 101. So what does this series do for you so far? In general, not any particular video.
Yeah, I understand. I empathize with what's his name?
Ifani.
I empathize with Ifani, and I was drawn in, and I was glad to be introduced to a lot of new concepts.
Well, what's the one that's most surprising to you so far?
Probably focus, just because it's such a simple thing, like you know. But I couldn't define it. I thought about it, then eventually I settled on a definition in my mind.
Yes.
But for like a majority of that video, I just couldn't think of something.
Yes.